Adding to or subtracting from God's command will always equal the wrong answer. Find out why in this episode of 5 Minutes Closer. I'm Vaughn Weatherford, and this is 5 Minutes Closer. For the next 5 minutes, let's explore some biblical truths and apply them to your life. No podcast, including this one, can transform your life or give you what you really need. Only Jesus can do that. You can find out why in what I've called the first five episodes of 5 Minutes Closer. Each following episode explores scriptural truths that, if you follow them, will bring you 5 minutes closer to the person God created you to be. Let's see if we can get you 5 minutes closer. I remember new math, a relatively short-lived educational approach in the 1960s, spurred on by the space race. It was an attempt to get American children to learn addition and subtraction faster than Russian children, I guess. The idea was to teach math using abstract concepts like sets and subsets, instead of teaching rote mathematical drills. Somehow, learning that the subset of fruits and vegetables is tomatoes would someday help me to understand calculus. I never quite figured that out. Apparently neither did anyone else. New math was old news by somewhere around the mid-1970s. Moses knew that the Israelites would face temptation from a form of new math when they entered the Promised Land. He knew they would think that adding some of the religious practices of the people of the land of Canaan would bring them prosperity and blessing. It wouldn't. In fact, it would destroy the very thing they were trying to build. The book of Deuteronomy records Moses helping the people of Israel understand how important it would be to remain faithful to their covenant with God. Deuteronomy 4 verse 1 says, "And now, O Israel, listen to the statutes and rules that I am teaching you, and do them, that you may live. And go in and take possession of the land that the Lord, the God of your fathers, is giving you. You shall not add to the word that I command you, nor take from it, that you may keep the commandments of the Lord your God that I command you." God's laws were very clear for the people of Israel. They didn't have to wonder if they should worship idols or not. "Thou shalt have no other gods before me" pretty well spelled it out. Unfortunately, Moses knew that the people would try a little new math. Add a Baal god here, subtract a Sabbath there. They were going to treat God's commands like suggestions that they could learn and use as they pleased. That was not the case. God's commands were not suggestions. It's not enough just to know God's commands. We actually have to keep them. God made this absolutely clear to the nation of Israel when he said, "You shall not add to the word I command you, nor take from it, that you may keep the commandments of the Lord your God that I command you." Moses clearly distinguished between the laws of God and the laws of men. The laws of men change as society dictates. One community may set the speed limit at 35 miles per hour, but in another community it might be 25 miles per hour. You have to check to be sure. The laws of God are constant. Moses' words keep it simple for everyone to understand. Don't add or subtract from God's command. This would be a terrific problem for the nation of Israel through the years, especially during the time of Jesus. It was the primary way that the Pharisees got so far away from what God actually wanted. They knew God's law, but then they started adding all kinds of rules and regulations that completely lost sight of what God's law said. When God gives a command, it matters whether or not we follow it. Adding to it or subtracting from it is not an option. We do so at our peril. The good news is that God provides his laws and commands for our benefit. Following them is essential to our being all that God created us to be. And now, you're 5 minutes closer. My prayer is that these 5 minutes have challenged you, inspired you, and caused you to consider applying God's message for your life from His Word. To find out more, visit our website at 5minutescloser.com. Join me next time to see if we can get you 5 minutes closer.